Yo, hey, Mickey Diaz on here. As you can see, I'm doing something a little bit different, switching the format a little bit. I think I'm gonna do a review on Apex Legends here. I don't know, just something I figured to kind of talk about because I have been really enjoying the game, won quite a few matches, and from my experience, I would just kind of like to talk about it. I mean, it is the next big thing. Um, I don't know the Tetris 99 be out there, but regardless, all I'm saying is this is a pretty interesting game, and for once in the battle royale genre, I gotta say they actually made a finished product. It's not early access or anything. They just dropped it and they said, you know what, we're done. Subscribe. There's a lot of things that this game does different. A lot of stuff that this game innovates on. I'm amazingly speaking about like comparing this to like other battle royale games, possibly Titanfall 2 a little bit, because this game is obviously based upon the Titanfall, series and stuff, the guns it has in it and such. Although some mechanics that they took away, I guess, where in Titanfall 2 you could wall run, which let's be real, you don't want people running on walls and while you're trying to hit them while playing battle royale. That's a bit much. But something they do have, I guess, to kind of please people is climbing, because you could climb very very high. It's almost like you're wall running, kind of in a sense. Like obviously not like instead of wall running horizontally, you're kind of just wall running vertically, and I feel like that's a great balance, because you can get to high ground and stuff in a battle royale. That's obviously what you want. So I think climbing is a great mechanic, something to kind of like hop off, like harp on upon, I guess. Wall running, kind of same thing. So other thing they took out was Titans, which, let's be real, it'd be kind of OP if someone had a Titan mid game and just slashed you, shot you, or whatever. Unless they like somehow just completely nerfed the crap out of them, which I would not enjoy. So you know what? I'm glad they took that out. I mean, it's kind of sad because that was like one of the best parts of Titanfall 2. Speaking of which, if you haven't played that, play that great game. Anyways, another cool mechanic that they added was, I guess, a lot of games and a lot of battle royale games when you would take your jump, where we dropping, boys, whatever. If one of your friends doesn't realize that you guys jumped, then he's kind of screwed all alone. So Jump Master is a great addition because it's just like you jump with your team, you're all good, and then you decide an area, you all go together, and before you land, you could split off and just go in your own separate buildings. I feel like that's one of the best mechanics ever because you never miss a drop, and even if you're the Jump Master, like I think you're pretty much good because you just be with your team pretty much. Obviously, unless they jump solo, but I'm just saying, Jump Master, great addition. Abilities, kind of like Overwatch abilities, but obviously less crazy. There obviously is counterplay and stuff, but not as much as Overwatch. Like I gotta say though, these are like the coolest things. Like Lifeline with the healing, you know, Mirage with like the decoys, like everything. Like I feel like it kind of flows together as well. Like there's just so many things that work in conjunction. Like you could have your own teams. Like these abilities are great because it just makes the game more team oriented, and that's something awesome. Pinging. Now I'm pretty sure there are pinging in like other games as well, but like this pinging system is very ideal. Uh, One of the greatest mechanics they added. Like you could ping like an item, you could ping an enemy. Like half the time, like even if you don't have a mic, then you pretty much could like. I mean, granted, let's say you should really play this game with a mic, but if you don't, just make sure you're pinging and your team, and you could actually lead to victory. Like it's just such a great mechanic. Like there's so many things in this game. Like I could even talk about mechanic-wise. Mechanically, like for instance, momentum. I believe that was in Titanfall as well. But in this game, since you can't like wall run and stuff, I feel like you kind of just like feel it more. If that makes any sense. Like it's more in tune because you slide down them hills. Like you necessarily wouldn't really do that in Titanfall. In Titanfall, you would kind of just grapple, run off the walls, slide a little bit, but you'd be jumping around a lot in that game. In that game, in this game, you're just kind of like grounded a little bit. Because of that, you start sliding on the ground more, and it's like nothing's the most fun feeling than holstering your weapons and just sliding down a giant hill. You move so quickly. Just everything about this game, like the whole zip lining. You zip line on a balloon and then you're already hopping away. Like there's so many movement like abilities, like so many ways to get around the map. And I feel like that's like one of the coolest things. In fact, I heard people saying, "Oh, they should probably lower the time of the ring when it closes, just because you can move so fast." Like, I guess that'd be cool, but it'd take away from the looting. Like, have some negative aspects to kind of talk about a little bit later. But for now, that's all I really want to say. There might be some mechanics that I missed, or my bad. But for the most part, I want to say this game's mechanics pretty damn solid. At first, it made it seem clunky, but after playing for a little while, I've grown to very much enjoy it. Alright, so now let's just start talking about the gun, the damage, the armor, all that, you know, regular Battle Royale stuff. So, anyway, so from what I've gathered from my playing, like I said, I've won a few matches with my hand, essentially, LMGs and shotguns kind of are taking over. You see, they kind of do a bunch of chunked damage. Now, the R99's not bad either. Like, there are a few guns that are aight, but, like, there's just a few things where I'm just all like, man, this is kind of weird. For instance, Mozambique, the shotgun pistol, why does that do the same amount of damage as the Wingman, which has a higher fire rate, you know? And just like, why would you not pick the Wingman, which uses heavy ammo, versus Mozambique in that situation, you know? Because essentially, the Wingman is just a better Mozambique. Like, there's just a few things where I'm just like, man, that's kind of weird. So like I said, LMGs, shotguns. Also, armor. Very, very, very important. Because if you have, like, really good armor, like, you're pretty much going to live every gunfight if you don't have, like, the correct gun. And here's the thing about earlier when I was talking about looting. Usually when you loot, you usually get, like, the really crappy stuff. Like, it's really hard to find any of the good stuff. Like, usually you just get like pistols and stuff, and sometimes you don't find anything. Like, it seems like the randomization, like, I guess, you know, it's a battle royale, you're gonna get what you can get, but from what I've noticed is a lot of the lower tier stuff is over spawned. Like, I feel like they just need to add a little bit more of, like, I guess, higher tier stuff or mid tier stuff at the very least, because I feel like it's very hard to find, like, what you need. Like, for instance, armor, backpacks, stuff like that, not too easy to find. So, like, I feel like they need to, like, you know, make it a little bit easier. Like, there's just a few things. Like, I feel like the game's solid, everything is good overall. It's just, I feel like they gotta fix damage outputs and such. I don't know if you guys kind of agree, but I feel like, once again, shotguns, LMGs, over chunk everything. So, yeah, I don't know. There's really not much to say other than that. Like, oof, good game, fun game, complete game, really great. Just, that's one little hiccup that I have. So, oofy.